Welcome to this explainer. Look, we're jumping right in today because we're focusing on something we literally all want. I think it's safe to say every single one of us shares a deep desire for better focus, sharper thinking, and just way stronger mental energy. I mean, we're demanding a ton from our brains every single day, right? Whether you're working, studying, or honestly just trying to manage the crazy complexities of modern life. So in this explainer, we're going to break down the actual science and the daily routines behind cognitive performance. And specifically, we're looking at how what you put on your plate directly impacts what you can produce with your mind.
So tell me if this sounds familiar. Is your brain constantly running on empty? Because honestly, this is such a relatable modern struggle. So many of us are dealing with this persistent brain fog, super low concentration, total mental fatigue, and just constant unending distractions. It kind of feels like your mental battery is perpetually stuck at 10%. And it's funny, we're so quick to prioritize our physical health, like hitting the gym or obsessively tracking our daily steps, but we completely ignore our mental performance. If you're finding yourself losing focus by, say, mid-afternoon, or you're really struggling to retain information, believe me, you are definitely not alone.
Okay, let's dive into exactly why this is happening. The factors draining your mental battery are basically woven into our modern lifestyles. We are constantly battling high stress, terrible sleep, highly processed foods that are totally lacking in vital nutrients, way too much screen time, and just absolute information overload. All of these things combined put a massive tax on our cognitive reserves. Because our environments are constantly pulling our attention in a literal million directions, actively and intentionally supplying our brains with the right nutrition to combat these drains is more crucial right now than ever before.
All right, moving right into Section 1, the Brain Superfood Toolbox. Let's look at natural cognitive support. Before we get to the actual foods, we really need to define exactly what we're fighting against here, and that is oxidative stress. Basically, you can think of this as rust forming in your brain. Your brain requires a massive constant supply of energy to function properly, but that super high metabolic rate can actually create this rust or cell damage, which is linked to aging and cognitive decline. So to protect the brain and essentially clear out that rust, we need antioxidants. Understanding this concept is absolutely vital because it explains exactly why our brains so desperately need the protective power of specific dietary nutrients to keep us sharp long-term. Which brings us to our absolute first tool, blueberries. People literally call this the brain berry, for good reason. They are absolutely packed with antioxidants called flavonoids. These specific compounds are the heavy lifters that may help protect your brain cells from that exact oxidative stress we just talked about. And get this, some research even suggests blueberries might help support memory, focus, and overall brain health. Plus, they're wildly popular because they are just so convenient. You can literally just toss a handful into your morning smoothie, your oatmeal, or a yogurt bowl, and you're starting your day with a serious focus boost.
Now, when you need a boost, you're usually facing a choice, right? On one hand, you have those highly caffeinated energy drinks. We all know them, and they are notorious for giving you that quick, high-sugar jolt, but it's always followed by a heavy, debilitating crash. On the other hand, you have matcha green tea. Matcha has become this massive, game-changing wellness drink because it gives you a completely different experience. It's this winning combination of natural caffeine, antioxidants, and a very important amino acid called L-theanine. L-theanine is heavily linked to calm focus and reduced mental stress. So instead of that harsh, jittery spike and crash, matcha offers a much smoother, steadier energy. It's totally why it's so popular for deep work sessions.
Okay, here's a wild fact. The human brain is actually nearly 60% fat. 60%! So it totally makes sense that it relies heavily on healthy dietary fats to function. This is why walnuts are constantly recommended for brain wellness. They are just loaded with omega-3 fatty acids and antioxidants. These specific nutrients are believed to be huge players in supporting cognitive performance, memory, and long-term brain health. And hey, if walnuts aren't your thing, you can totally get these essential healthy fats from flax seeds, chia seeds, avocados, or even salmon.
All right, here's the one that usually makes everyone's day. Dark chocolate. Yes, it has firmly earned its spot in the brain health conversation. Good quality dark chocolate contains its own flavonoids, alongside magnesium and just a tiny bit of caffeine. And studies actually suggest these cocoa compounds might help support blood circulation straight to the brain, which obviously aids mental performance. It feels super energizing and satisfying when you're studying or working. But, and this is a big but, moderation is totally key here. Shoving down too much highly processed sugary chocolate is just going to lead to a sugar spike and those dreaded energy crashes we are actively trying to avoid.
So that brings us to Section 2, the habit trap. Let's look beyond just the superfoods.
Because here is the real trap, guys. You absolutely cannot just eat a handful of blueberries and expect some kind of miracle if your overall lifestyle is actively holding your brain back. The absolute biggest focus killers out there are things like poor sleep, excessive sugar, dehydration, constant multitasking, and way too much screen time. Look, you can drink all the matcha you want, but it is never going to outwork a terrible sleep schedule or chronic dehydration. Too many people spend forever searching for the perfect cognitive supporting food while completely ignoring their basic wellness habits. Hydration, movement, and sleep dictate your daily focus just as much as your diet does.
Which naturally leads us to Section 3, real-world brain routines, focusing on practical, everyday meals.
You're definitely going to want to keep these meal ideas handy, because integrating these nutrients is actually so incredibly easy. You could whip up a quick brain smoothie, just mixing those flavonoid-rich blueberries with some chia seeds for healthy fats. Or try Focus Oatmeal. Toss some oats, walnuts, and berries together. If you need a drink, swap out that sugary energy drink for a calm energy matcha latte. And for a snack, simple avocado toast on whole grain bread topped with some seeds gives your brain exactly the healthy fats it's craving. These are affordable, super easy to prep routines that build genuine, lasting brain wellness.
Ultimately, everything we've talked about builds a truly holistic approach. We call these the 5 pillars of long-term brain wellness. Step 1 is the balanced nutrition we just covered, but it absolutely must be combined with hydration, quality sleep, regular movement, and real stress management. Supporting your brain health is all about consistency across all 5 of these pillars over time. If you ignore even one pillar, it almost always compromises the others, leading you right straight back to that exact mental fatigue and brain fog we talked about at the very beginning.
So it really boils down to this. Small daily habits may have a bigger impact than extreme wellness trends. Listen, there is no overnight miracle food that's going to magically give you perfect, unbreakable focus. The real power, that lies in building sustainable, consistent daily routines. Replacing your midday soda with a glass of water, swapping out some highly processed snack for a handful of walnuts, or honestly, just prioritizing 1 extra hour of sleep. Those small, compounding choices are what actually provide the strongest, longest-lasting support for your focus.
So, I want to leave you with one big final question to think about. What is one simple habit you can change today to clear the brain fog tomorrow? Seriously, don't try to overhaul your entire life all at once. Just reflect on the habits we went through today and pick just one. Maybe it's throwing some blueberries into your breakfast, or simply drinking a tall glass of water before you even look at your phone in the morning. Pick one, apply it, and start reclaiming your focus. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this explainer. If you found this breakdown helpful, definitely share it with someone else who might be looking to boost their mental energy naturally. Keep learning, keep focusing, and I'll catch you in the next one.